Hey, this is Will Knight, and we are back with another podcast, and we're talking real estate. And I'm here with
Joe Nicastro.
Joe. How's it going today?
I hate saying my name like that. I hate introducing myself.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Well, I won't have you do it again.
Okay, perfect.
I may have you do it one more time at the end.
That part is over.
All right.
Yes, Joe Nicastro is my name. That's what they call me.
All right. So, Joe, you do real estate.
I do.
So tell me
For
how...
better or for worse. Yeah.
So how do you describe the real estate market right now?
Oh, I hate that question. The government's shut down right now, so we're in interesting times for sure. But for the most part, I mean, people always want to talk about the market. I always get asked, like, how's the market? Is the market doing well? And I'm like, well, what market are you talking about? First of all, are you a buyer or are you a seller? What part of the, we're talking Chicago, like, what part of the city are you in? You know what I mean? Like, if you have a 2-1 in Lincoln Park and you're ready to sell it, the market's going to do very well for you. It always kind of depends. Interest rates did drop a little bit, where we were seeing like right below 6. Like, I could get you 5.9 on a single family home right now. So if you're a buyer, that's wonderful for you. It could create a little bit more competition as the more buyers might, come out of the woodwork with the lower interest rates. So it could create more competition depending on what you're looking for. But I'm always like, the market's doing what the market's doing. It doesn't change that much. We're getting into the fall, so we're seeing, there's deals to be had for buyers, and sellers are just seeing a little bit more market time on their listings right now, which is usual for getting into fall here.
Okay. So what about, is there a particular neighborhood that is high or low, slow or fast?
I mean, we're in Lincoln Park right now. Lincoln Park is always going to be on the high. Lakeview, we're still seeing, I have clients that are getting beat out at multiple offers in Lincoln Park, depending on the price point. Like I said, I mentioned, a 2-1 in Lincoln Park, if that's going to be listed around, between $300,000 and $400,000, that's targeting first-time home buyers. Those are going pretty quick. Lincoln Park and Lakeview will always kind of be like that, depending on the price point. And, it depends on the neighborhood. Uptown's doing really well right now. A lot of people want that kind of vintage feel with their home. So, Uptown's got an upper hand too right now.
Okay. Do you go all over though, right? Are you specifically in the North Side area?
I am all over. I'll do business anywhere. There's pretty much, I'll travel.
Okay.
I was in Beverly and Hyde Park earlier today, and then tomorrow I'm going to Glen Ellen. So I'm pretty much all over the map. I do primarily do like city proper.
Okay.
Downtown, Lincoln Park, Lakeview, Bucktown, Logan Square, things like that. But I especially for my personal clients, people that I enjoy, I'll go the distance for you.
Okay. So how is the rates rising right now? I know you said you could get rates like 5%, 6%.
They're trickling down, and they're saying that with the cut of the Fed that they will continue to trickle down slightly. Right around 6% we can anticipate for a 30-year fix, probably until the end of the year.
Okay. What makes the Chicago market or this market in the North Side a little bit more buyer's market, shall I say?
Probably the time of the year right now. Right now, like, people have their kids back in school. Travel tends to be up. We're getting into the holidays, so there's less buyers out there. So if you are looking to buy, I'm telling all my buyers right now, like, between now and the end of the year, if you're ready to buy, you should probably do it. This is the best pricing that you're going to get. If you wait until the spring, you could see, depending on the price point, $40,000, $50,000 difference in the pricing, or the deals that could be had right now. There are deals it's deal hunting time, as I say, for my buyers.
Okay. What makes a seller's market? Because we hear talk about sellers, everybody's selling in certain areas like in Edgewater or Lincoln Park or Uptown.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling my sellers that are talking right now, I'm like, now's the time to prep your listings. It's still nice out. We're in September right now. It still feels like summer. So I'm telling my sellers, if you can, we should probably wait until February, March to list. But now's a good time to prep. Like, let's get in there and see what small fixes you can do and prepare for this spring. We can take your outdoor photos right now because it's still quite beautiful. What we don't want, if we can avoid, I would not want to like get in there in February and list in 2 weeks. Then I got to take all your outdoor photos with snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Like we want
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we want to see the greenery right now. Like now is the time to get it prepped and ready. And then once February hits, where the quintessential yearly spring market for the sellers market hits, that's when we'll actually take the listing live.
Okay, so you have a little bit of fashion style.
Not today, we don't.
You have the commentary going on.
Yeah.
So tell me about prepping for a house. How do you prep for a house sale or buyer's market?
I mean, it really depends on the position that my sellers are in. Each seller is going through something different. Some people can wait, until the spring to sell. Some people cannot. I mean, I just had a situation in Lincoln Park where she got a new job and she had to relocate as fast as possible. And I mean, we got the listing ready in like a week and a half. And I'm talking about, I was like, we got to change these light fixtures. This needs to be painted. What's really going to photograph well and show well is a whole different animal. So we replaced light fixtures. Like I said, we painted. My photographer came in. We had the carpets cleaned. We had the windows washed. Like all of that prep in like a week and a half, and we sold it, or we got it under contract rather, quite quickly in about 2 weeks total time.
Because people don't understand, like that little stuff helps a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, I don't want to say like be on the design trends, but I know kind of what will show well in a photo and more, and what like buyers are looking for, like a clean cut look. You're prepping the listing to sell. You're not prepping it for anybody's personal taste, including your own. So like, some people could be insulted because I'll come in and be like, that light fixture is not, that's good for you, but we need to have a clean slate that people can see themselves living in. I mean, it's marketing.
Because sometimes people don't understand visionary of like what they picture. Once these people move out, all of a sudden you want to put your stuff in.
You also don't know what other people are looking for because you're simply not out there in the world working with buyers. I mean, I work for Vesta Preferred Realty. We represent the most amount of buyers in Chicago. So I'm constantly taking buyers out. This is my full-time job. I do about $20 million in business a year. I'm constantly around buyers. I'm constantly hearing and seeing what people want. So when I'm talking to a seller, I'm like, no, I know that you're very attached. Let's just say this light fixture. I know you think it's beautiful. However, I know who's going to buy this, and that light fixture is actually heinous. So we're switching it out, and we're going to buy something that is not expensive, but that will photograph well, and that will get people. Because with your photos, you're not trying to sell the property with the photos. You're trying to get people in the door with your photos. I just need people to show up to the property, and I'm going to tell you how to do that.
What is the biggest part of communication and with your clients regarding like the toughest part of being a real estate agent?
Gosh, we don't have enough time for that, Will. Jeez. I mean, listen.
Give me a few.
I mean, what's hard about this business just in general, and I think there's such a false narrative out there about being a real estate agent. And I mean, maybe I had this a little bit when I first started, like, I could do that. It looks so easy. And with anything, people who are good at their job make it look easy. I think, I'm in a relationship. I'm in more relationships than I can count with this business.
Yes.
I'm constantly, I'm sorry, see, like I'm always on my phone. Like someone just signed this contract. Like this is what I'm talking about. Like I'm always on. There's a good example. Like I am constantly working. I really don't turn it off, which is terrible for my personal life, but I'm constantly working. I'm constantly developing these relationships. any buyer or seller I'm working with, that's like it. I have a relationship with them, and as you know, relationships can be really positive. They go through their trials and tribulations, and that's the same thing in real estate. I think the hardest part with different clients, this is what I love the most and what I like the least, is like setting the expectation with your clients is very important. And people have different personalities, and it can be sometimes difficult to navigate. But I think what you have to do is set the expectation right out the gate. Like, I was just talking about this Lincoln Park listing that we had to sell it really fast, and I said, I know your expectation is to sell this really fast, but here's the market time of your area. This is the reality of maybe where we'll be. So did I answer your question? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you did.
What was your question again?
But what's interesting is the expectation of someone that you're representing getting their house and condo or unit
right
on the market is sold within 2 weeks.
So for instance, I just went on a listing presentation where somebody was interviewing me to sell their house. And I'm just going to throw a number out there. Like I said, this is what the data shows your house is worth. Your house is worth $725,000 in the spring market, because that's when that's when there's going to be, the market is in your favor. If you want to sell it now, you could probably get 700. And I mean, these people were like, but it's worth 850. And I'm like, well, okay, but show me the data for that. Oh, you don't have any. You just think that's because it's your house and you put all this money into it, or you put all this time and energy like living there, that you think that that's what that's worth. Well, my job is to, set the expectation that this is what you can get, and here's the data to back it up. And I think a lot of agents out there will just tell people what they want to hear, and I'm not really interested in saying that I can sell your house for $850 when I know it can only go for $725. I'm not in that business. I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to waste my time. And then if I do list it for the $850 and it doesn't sell, then you're mad at me, and that's an argument, and I don't really want to go through that.
Right, because somebody's going to come back and say, no, I'll buy it for $750 or $725.
Correct. And then you're just going to end up price dropping, and then it devalues anyway.
Yeah.
So why are we going to put ourselves through that? So I think that that's a difficult task, is setting expectations, whether it's a buyer or whether it's a seller. I mean, flip side for buyer is like, in the spring, I have to have the conversation, like, we are going to be up against multiple offers. How high are you willing to go on this? I know the list price says $725. However, if it's worth $775, they underprice it to get multiple offers to maybe go up to $8. So are you willing to pay above this? Because that's where we're going to be, in April. So setting these expectations are very, very important. And that's where it can be a little bit tricky, but straightforward and honest, I always think is the way to go.
What are some of the things you run into with for sale by owners?
Oh gosh, stop doing for sale by owners. What are some things I run up against?
Yeah,
I mean, those are the most unrealistic, because I remember I remember my dad was trying to sell our house by himself and he couldn't do it. I mean, because ultimately you don't have access to the data and the market like a real estate agent would. And I mean, there's a common misconception that real estate agents are overpaid or we don't do any work, and I'm like, it's a grind to dig into the data and network with the people and bring people into your property. I mean, that's a lot of the work that we do.
Because you're also networking with other real estate agents as well.
Yes. I mean, I'm constantly
knowing what they want, know what you want, or if you're buying and they're selling. It's kind of like, this is what I want. This is, if you have anything like this.
Yep. Every time I'm in my office or every time I'm out with my friends who are other agents, I'm like, do you have anybody for this? Do you have anything like this coming up? And we are constantly have that rapport of, we kind of have a finger on the pulse of what's happening. So for instance, like, I know of an upcoming listing, in Lakeview that I know is going to sell like that. And I can tell this person, I'm like, I already have 3 buyers for this. I know I already have people for your home. If you try to sell it by yourself, you're not going to have that. And it's just a tougher job. And what I think people don't understand too is just maintaining the transaction is difficult. Like, I have like a transaction coordinator, and I navigate where the money is going and where the documentation is going. Like, you really want to do that all by yourself? I don't think people know. It's not just someone shows up with a bag of cash and walk into your house and then they take it all over. Like, for sale by owner, I don't know. Are you going to do heart surgery on your own heart? I don't think so.
Yeah, I get that all the time. I own several properties myself, and I always went with a real estate agent as well, because I don't want to do, it's not the work, it's the MSL listing. You guys have contacts.
Yes.
You know, it could be on the market for 6 months, or it could be on the market for 3 months.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it could be on the market for 6 days, you know? And for someone like you who has a lot of these properties, and if you're working with the same agent, like, that agent should know, let's say you have 3 or 4 properties, and at some time you're going to sell them all. That agent should come to you and be like, listen, because you have these properties, I'm going to cut my commission. Like, there's deals to be had there if there's loyalty between agent and seller, for sure. I mean, you know, that can be a thing too. If you're like, listen, I want to use you just to maintain the transactions, I can just charge you a transaction fee. Like, I don't need, you know, the full commission if I've worked with you before, if I know you have more properties. Like, there are other ways around making sure that everybody is satisfied with as far as compensation goes. So that's like, I'm always willing. It's always a negotiation, you know?
Yeah. So, Joe.
Yeah.
I got a couple of questions for you. We're going to wrap this up.
Oh, that was fast. Okay. All right.
What got you into this career?
Gosh. I had a friend of mine who has a real estate team was like, you would be so great at this if you're ever looking to join real estate. Like, if you go get your license, you'll have a spot on my team. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was looking to kind of not do a career shift, but I was like I had a lot of free time. And, you know, I really like relationships, and I knew that real estate is a relationship-based business. I love people. I love meeting new people. I really do enjoy that part of it. And I knew from the beginning that I would like that. And this was right after COVID had happened. So I did an accelerated class. I got my license in 2 weeks, and I started doing it.
Okay. Wait a minute, you took a class in real estate for 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks every day, Monday through Friday, from like 9 to 4.
Oh my God.
So you could either do it like weekly, or you could just like get it done with.
Twice a month.
Yeah, but then it takes forever. Now I'm the type of person, I'm like, I need to get it done. I need to get it done, and I need to do it in person. So I sat in person in a classroom for 2 weeks, and then you take the state test and the national test, and then you get your license, and then you can, you know, start practicing real estate. Okay. Although I thought it would be much easier at the start. I mean, it's a grind. It took me a good year before I did like my own deal on my own.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah.
How has your career evolved from when you first started?
I started as kind of like shadowing, you know, a team lead and really helping them with their transactions, and I wasn't making a lot of money, and I was working a lot of open houses, trying to network with, you know, unrepresented people. I mean, the hard part is like everybody has a real estate agent. Everybody knows real estate agent.
Yeah.
My sister's brother's ex-boyfriend who he cheated on him with is a real estate agent. I'm going to use them. Like, that's what we're up against a lot of the time. But you
have to pick the right one for you.
But people don't understand that, and I think this goes back to like, people don't understand how much work it goes into. Like, I am constantly telling people, this is my full-time job. Here are my reviews. Here's the amount of business I do. Here is the average sale that I do. I know you have a brother, sister-in-law's mutual friend who's a real estate agent, and I can look them up, and I'm not going to tell them this, but I can look them up and see how much business they've done. And I understand people want to use the people they know. However, this is a very big decision, or can be a very big decision in someone's life. If they're a first-time home buyer, it's a big chunk of money. Like, yes. You don't want just a friend to do this for you. I mean, you want somebody who can bring all the right people together, who can make it a smooth experience, because it can be very bumpy if you have someone who is A, inexperienced, or B, doesn't always have your best interest in mind.
You know, what's interesting is you and I both know a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I always consider like a real estate agent like my financial advisor.
Yes,
because
that's smart.
Someone said to me, I knew someone that says, oh, I'm going to get my financial advisor, whatever class or certification or class, but I'm only doing it part-time. And I said, why would I ever hire you?
Exactly.
It's not your full-time job.
Yes. I'm constantly telling people, like, this is what I do all day, every day. And usually when I take a buyer out for the first time, I mean, when I'm meeting with a seller, I give a listing presentation. That is certainly an interview. When I bring a buyer out for the first time, you know, I'm like, well, let's go see these 4 houses. And literally, I want you to watch how I work. I want you to listen to the questions that I ask. You're going to learn something. I know you are. And you'll start to understand that I am going to represent you in the best way possible. Mostly because it is my full-time job. And it's not a side gig that I do after work. And I can only show you the homes after 5 p.m. when I get out of the office.
And on Saturdays and Sundays.
And on Saturdays and Sundays. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and that's the thing too. Like we had to reschedule this podcast because one of my clients was like, I want to see this house at 12:30. I can only go at 12:30 and I might want to potentially put in an offer. Okay, I gotta move my shit around. Let's go see this house. She just signed the offer and I'll submit it when I'm done here. But I mean, that's how fast-paced it has to be if you're going to be successful.
Yeah, you can't wait till Saturday or Sunday or after 5 o'clock.
It's going to be gone.
Because it's going to be gone, and then the client loses out, gets frustrated.
Correct.
And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand, is when you going for a real estate agent or looking at it, look at his qualifications, his reviews, listen to his presentation. Don't pick just, oh, I have a friend of a friend of a friend who gave me his, because that may not be the right person for you.
And I feel like this year a lot, I have been their second agent to sell their place or to list their place, because like I had someone, for instance, who just was like, I found this person on TikTok or I found this person on Instagram. I forget what it was, but this person had like a big social media, real estate, aesthetically beautiful, whatever, but she couldn't sell the property. So then they took it off the market. She fired her. She hired me, and we were under contract in under a week. So I'm like, you should interview. I am like, please interview me. I'm begging for interviews because I know I'll beat somebody else out for whether it's like, first of all, I'm a good time, but second of all, like I have the experience and the reviews and the background and the portfolio to back up what I'm going to say.
You know your worth.
I am constantly working on knowing my worth every day. I do have imposter syndrome, but yes, I do. Ultimately, I do. And relationships alone and network alone, I'm like, it's incomparable.
Joe, what inspired you about getting into this field?
Nothing inspired me. I was not inspired. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I watched an episode of Selling Sunset and I'm inspired to get into this business.
Or the $1 Million Listing.
Or $1 Million Listing, which obviously I hope everyone knows is fake as hell. It's fake as hell. Nothing inspired me to get into the business, but I am constantly inspired to stay in the business. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I said, I think it just goes back to people, and I really like the relationship building, whether it's with other agents or buyers and sellers. And it is thrilling when people buy their home for the first time and they get that set of keys. Yes, that it sounds so corny, but yes, that is something, or it is a big moment in people's lives. So I am constantly inspired to stay in it. The money doesn't suck. But it is a lot. I mean, it is a lot of work, and it's a lot of sacrifice. I mean, my poor fiance. I mean, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't come to bed. I'm negotiating this offer at 10 p.m. to get this done by the morning. Like, it is tough. People are like, oh, you get to make your schedule. I'm like, kinda, but mostly I'm on other people's schedule. Like, do I want to be negotiating an offer at 10 p.m.? No. On a Saturday night? No. Do you know how many offers I've written from the Maple and Ash bathroom? Or I'm constantly going out to dinner with my laptop because I'm like, I might have to like do something. So like, that's not always fun. Or like, I always have to constantly excuse myself to be on the phone. So, but it is exciting. I could never sit in an office. Like I could never do a corporate job. God, no, shoot me. So this is a much better alternative. And you know, it keeps you on your toes. I'm constantly, maybe I'm stressed out a lot. But
I know what else keeps you on your toes.
What?
Your kids.
Oh yeah, that too. Gosh, that's right too. They're always like, "Oh, you have to go to work on a Saturday." I'm like, ugh, yes. But hopefully, you know, I'm almost getting to a place where like I can start bringing people on and maybe in the future build a team and they can work on the weekends for me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So Joe, what piece of advice, we're wrapping this up.
Okay.
What piece of advice can you give someone who is starting out looking at two things that you want to pass along to people?
That like want to become agents?
Yes.
If you want to become a real estate agent, first of all, I think if you are interested in getting your license, you should. I think it's very informative just about the housing market in general and just about the process and things like that. I think it's worth it. And then it is imperative that you find a mentor. I think what happens is people get their license and then they join some of these big brokerages who shall not be named, the biggest ones, and then they just take them, and then you're like a fish out of water, and you're like, okay, but like now what do I do? There's not like a specific, only certain brokerages, mine included Vesta Preferred Realty, will have kind of a mentorship program where you'll go in, they'll give you their own class, and then they'll give you someone to shadow or follow around and kind of learn the business before you go out there on your own. I think some of these agents like get their license, then they join these big brokerages, and then they tell their friends, I'm a real estate agent. And then they're like, okay, I'm ready to put in an offer. And you're like, okay, how do I write an offer? Or like, what do I need to submit an offer?
Or they never call you to tell you, oh, I have an offer, or I'm getting an offer.
Something like that. Like, or like even as simple as like, you know, letting the listing agent know that you're submitting an offer. Like there's a lot of minutia in the business that you really need a mentor to kind of break down for you. So I always say, get your license and then find a brokerage that has some kind of mentorship program, because they're out there. You just have to find them. And if you're interested, you can contact me. I'll funnel one right for you. So. Okay. That's my biggest piece of advice. And also, like, you're not gonna make a ton of money right out the gate. Like, you gotta grind a little bit. You might, if you're a bartender or, you know, I coach fitness, like I keep that, you know, to offset. It's up and down. It takes a long time. Like I'm 6 years in now, and I'm just now having a consistent kind of income that I think is sufficient enough for my lifestyle with just real estate. It took 5 years.
Yeah. Now, next question is, what piece of advice can you give to buyers and sellers about cleaning up their homes?
Your taste is not everybody's taste. You know, people, what's the saying? My best friend told me this. If people knew they had bad taste, they wouldn't have bad taste. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So find a good real estate agent who's going to be honest with you about not only the process, but also what you can do to improve your home. And get your shit. Oh, I wasn't going to swear. Get your stuff. I did so well up until this point. Get your stuff out of your house. Like, I actually saw a house today that they were like moving out and there's boxes everywhere. And I'm like, you should not be showing this house right now. Get all your stuff out first. Make sure it's show ready. Because you're selling a product. The product is your house.
What is show ready? A lot of people don't understand that. Like, for instance, I'm going to give you a clean example. Mm-hmm. You go into somebody's kitchen.
Yeah.
What is show ready?
There shouldn't be, for instance, one of my big pet peeves is like dish towels hanging over your oven. I hate seeing that. Like clean countertops, clear countertops. I don't want to see your, what do people keep, like,
your spices.
Your spices on the counter, like put that away. I'm even like, for photos, I have clear countertops. Like no toasters. For showings, that's a little bit different, but like for photos, like all appliances are off the countertops. It just can't look cluttered.
You shouldn't have like,
your mail,
should be
for
clean.
instance,
Yeah.
like your mail should not be piled up for a showing. Put that in a drawer and get your countertops clear. Because it can be a distraction. Same thing with like photos. Like, why do you have photos of yourself up? Like, get that away. A lot of times people, like kids play stuff is a big one too. I know it's very difficult, and I empathize with parents for sure, obviously. But like kids' toys everywhere, just clean, just clean, and because ultimately people need to envision themselves living in your house. And if you can't do that, then it's not show ready. Wires is another thing, like cell phone chargers all over the place. Like, get that out of there.
I have to tell you a story. I was in the process of selling one of my condos that I lived in, moving to another place. And my agent says, you have to get your place show ready. And I said, well, what is show ready?
Well, I give people a list.
Yeah, and he goes, he says, everything off your countertops, everything off the table.
Yep.
So I literally took a basket or box.
Yes.
And put everything
Yes.
in it because I'm
And
like,
slide it under the bed or something.
I put it in the closet and behind clothes.
Yes.
Because the thing about it is, I need that stuff. They don't need to see that
Correct.
stuff. You know, so
Yes.
I took my work papers, all my office work, photography, everything that
Yep.
I like, I put in a box and I put it in a closet behind clothes. Because it's like, they don't need to see my coffee maker. They don't need to see my can opener or my dish towel set.
And like a lot of times when I take buyers out, we're not just seeing your place. We're seeing 5 places in a row. And I don't want yours to be the one that is like, oh, remember that cluttered one?
That's what people
know what I'm
understand.
saying?
And that's what people remember too.
Yes, exactly.
They don't remember the waterfall countertop. They remember what was on the waterfall countertop.
I just did a showing and we cut the showing early because my buyers were like, this doesn't feel right. Like the feeling in the home, there was a lot of like religious paraphernalia everywhere, which I would also suggest, like anything that's personal to you, take it down. Because people are gonna have a reaction to it. You know, it's just
and people
political stuff. Get it out. Get it out.
People don't understand, I think, this is your home and you're showing it to somebody else that you want them to live here. You have to get all your personal stuff out of there.
If I wanted to buy a t-shirt, I wouldn't buy a t-shirt that had your name on it.
Right.
Why would I do that? So I don't want to buy a house with all your crap on it.
Well, you would buy a t-shirt that has my podcast All About Nothing on there, right?
Do you have t-shirts?
I will.
Oh, yes, that's the t-shirt I want.
All right.
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this wraps it up for All About Nothing. Thank you very much for joining us for another podcast. And thank you, Jill. Jill, what is your contact information? Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at Nicastro is a great way. I can give my work phone number 773-729-6837.
All right, that's it for All About Nothing. Thank you guys very much. Have a good day.
Bye.